Hello, I'm Anthony David Hobbs, and this review concerns Rambo 3, released in 1988. Oh, but before that, I'd like to say a little thing about the previous two films. The second Rambo film, Frank Stallone sang the song at the end, a big epic song like a ballad about events happening in the film. And I assumed Frank Stallone sang It's a Long Road, the song in the first Rambo film. He doesn't. It's a different singer that just has a similar voice, a singer with a similar style of singing, yeah. Anyway, Rambo 3, when it came out, this one concerns the Afghan war that was going on in the 1980s. I think it started around about 1980 and went on until 1988. And Rambo 3, the most expensive of all the films, yes, it cost tens of millions to make, had the biggest body count, more death and destruction, more kills than any other. It was the bloodiest movie of its time. Yes, more deaths in this one. I think over 150. Yeah, it was a blockbuster. It did make the money in return, but it didn't make as much money as they might have hoped because Rambo 3, set during the Afghan War, when it was released, it was just a few weeks after the Afghan War had finished. So it looked dated very quickly. So that's a shame. Yeah. It's not a shame the war ended. Yes, war is a terrible thing. I want to make that perfectly clear. I meant it's a shame the movie didn't make as much as it could have done, yeah. Nevertheless, it was very good. It made a big impact. Yes, I remember all these references to Rambo 3, yeah, when it first came out, yeah. And, we see something we haven't seen before in Rambo 3. Basically, at the end of Rambo 2, Rambo is a free man. Yeah, he can go wherever he wants, yeah. And he lives in Thailand. He works for some monks, Buddhist monks, and he's like a handyman. He fixes things, yeah. He prefers to fix things rather than destroy things, yeah. And then Colonel Troutman finds him and says, "There's a battle going on in Afghanistan. I'm going to fight with an army. We want you to join us." And Rambo's like, "No, I've done all my fighting. I don't do that anymore. No." And they go, "Well, will you volunteer?" He goes, "No, I don't want to do it. No." So yes, Rambo was drafted in the Vietnam War. He had to do that fighting in Rambo 2 to get his freedom, yeah. But an issue that hasn't been raised before is, would Rambo do it willingly? Yes. Would he volunteer? Would he fight in the army of his own free will? And the simple answer is no, he wouldn't. No. He only fights when he has to, yeah. And if even though Rambo has brilliant fighting skills, if he's given the choice, he'd prefer a peaceful life, yeah. And then Colonel Troutman gives him that speech about how we didn't make you a perfect combat machine. No, you did that on your own. You know, you have superb fighting skills. When are you going to come to terms with what you are? You know, you're a brilliant fighter. You were born for it. You know, and unless you do this, you'll never come full circle and accept that. Yeah, the theme of coming full circle, because this was meant to be the last one, so everything is wrapped up. Yeah. But Rambo wishes the Colonel good luck and everything and says, "But no, I'm not joining in the fight. No, it has to stop for me sometime, yeah." And then later on, Colonel Troutman and his small army, they go and help the Afghan warriors. The thing about the Afghan war, I mean, I don't know the whole history of it, but there are some historians that think it was a war going on against invading Russians and the Afghan warriors, but it had nothing to do with the Western world. Did America have any right to join in the fight at all? Was it their fight? Yeah. So, does it matter? This is a Rambo film. It's not a documentary. It's not meant to be 100% politically correct. So no, just go with it. It's an entertaining story, yeah. Anyway, Colonel Troutman gets captured. And then the people that work for the army tell Rambo this, and Rambo says, "Well, what are you doing about it?" And they say, "Nothing. There's nothing we can do." And Rambo said, "Well, can you get me in?" "Well, not officially." "Then make it unofficial." So they do, and he gets all the weapons and stuff near the Afghan border, yeah. And yes, we see different environments in all Rambo films. It changes. In the first Rambo film, it's in the mountains, in the American forests. The second one, it's the Vietnamese jungle. And in the third one, it's the desert country in Afghanistan. So yes, Rambo is the perfect soldier. He can perfectly adapt. He can fight anywhere. He can adapt to any environment, yeah. Anyway, when he gets to the border between Afghanistan and Pakistan, yes, his contacts there gives him all these different weapons, high-tech gadgets and gizmos designed for destroying things, yeah. And Oh yeah, his contact says, "I don't get this. The whole rescue team is just you. Are you mercenary? No. Are you military? No. You're not military. You're not mercenary. What are you? Lost tourist? I'm no tourist." Yes, Rambo has very little dialogue like the previous films, but he makes it count when he does speak. Yeah, and the bit when he says, "Are you a good fighter then, Rambo?" And Rambo says, "I've fired a few shots." So we, the audience, know that he's being very modest. Yes, has he fired a few? Yes, he's a brilliant in the thick of battle. Yeah, and does Rambo 3 have anything to do with being a Vietnam War veteran? Well, not really. No, mostly it doesn't. But there is just this small thing. When Colonel Troutman is being interrogated by the Russian colonel, so Colonel confronts Colonel. Basically, Colonel Troutman says, "You've got to pull out of Afghanistan because it's not worth it. You don't need this place. And secondly, you can't possibly win. You're fighting people that would rather die than lose. You can't win a battle against that. My people, the Americans, learned that in the Vietnam War. They were people that would rather die than surrender. Yes, we've had our Vietnam, and now you're having your Vietnam War all over again here." So I suppose that was interesting. Yes, the Colonel drawing parallels between the Vietnam War and the Afghan War. Yeah. Anyway, afterwards, Rambo he needs some help to go and fight, and we see, well, it's not Omar Sharif. No, they have an actor that looks very like Omar Sharif. Did they originally intend to have Omar Sharif? I don't know. Yeah. Oh, but before they make battle plans and stuff, they play a game of American football. Well, no, it isn't American football, but it's a sport, I suppose, their equivalent of American football. And the Afghan warriors pick up a dead sheep, and they have to put it in a circle, ride on a horse, take it to the other end, put it there. So the story is humanising the Afghan warriors, making out they're not so very different to Rambo and his culture, yeah. And then afterwards we see lots of carnage, destruction, these high-tech Russian helicopters destroying everything in sight, killing anyone that's armed and anyone that's unarmed. Just genocide, killing everything in sight, yeah. Yes, in the 80s, yeah, the Cold War, the Russians were the definitive bad guys. Anything bad happens, blame it on the Russians, yeah. And then afterwards, there are bits when, a little nod to the second film, Rambo uses his bow and arrow, and each arrow has a bomb on the end. And sometimes Rambo uses very advanced technology to fight, sometimes he uses very primitive technology, and sometimes he combines the two, yeah, combine primitive with advanced. It's a bow and arrow, but there's a bomb on the end of the arrow, yes, and he uses it to blow up a helicopter, yeah. Then afterwards Rambo goes through a minefield. That's quite a tense scene, yes, he could be blown to bits any second, yeah. He attempts to rescue Colonel Troutman, the plan goes wrong, yeah. Oh, we see tanks. Rambo's the perfect soldier. We've never seen tanks than in the previous ones. Anyway, that goes wrong. Rambo has a bit of shrapnel in his side. He has to pull that out, and then he has to use like burning fire to stop the wound bleeding. And yes, we see intense pain. Yes, but Rambo will do whatever it takes to get the job done. Yeah. In the first Rambo film, Rambo is like a one-man army. Then the second one, he has to fight a whole army on his own again. In the third one, it's sort of a mixture of both. Sometimes he has a help from a few Afghan people, and there are other bits where he does it on his own. So sort of a mixture of both, yeah. I suppose to make it a bit more realistic, they're saying, no, even Rambo needs some help sometime, yeah. Then he attempts to rescue Colonel Troutman again. This time he succeeds, yes. They both get out of there. Oh, and they rescue some other prisoners as well in a helicopter. That's sort of a nod to the second film. The only the difference is the helicopter is forced to land much sooner. They all get out of the helicopter and it blows up. Yeah, so yeah, they were. Oh yes, another nod to the second film. There is a scene in Rambo 2 where Rambo has to fight a Russian, but no weapons. No, it's sheer physical strength. He has to fight him with his bare hands. And we see a scene similar to that in this one. Yes, it's brute strength. And we see, yes, Rambo is, for some reason, his top is ripped off, so we can see all the muscles, the detail, because the muscles of Rambo represent capitalism beating communism. Yes, they're never-ending fight, but yes, capitalism triumphs over communism. And so he fights a Russian, this with bare hands, you know. At least it is bare hands at first, and then afterwards, at one point, when the fight's wrapping up, Rambo strangles the Russian with a big rope and ignites a grenade on him, kicked him down a big hole, and he's strangled and blown up at the same time. Oh, God. Okay, so when your bare hands don't work, use a weapon. Okay, fight with every kind of weapon, yeah. And I do like Rambo 3. Yes, there are some things a bit similar to number 2, but no, it's different enough and similar enough to be good. So yes, I enjoyed Rambo 3. It made a brilliant Rambo trilogy. Just one little gripe here. Okay, when it's very near the end, so big spoiler alert, Colonel Troutman and Sylvester Stallone at Rambo, they're on the brink of getting to the border, therefore the Russian army can't hurt them there. But then all their friends have escaped, so they've just got to fun go over the border. Then a load of Russians appear out of nowhere, tanks, helicopters, load of troops, everything. What's their brilliant plan? What's Colonel Troutman and Rambo going to do to get out of this one? And Rambo simply says, well, we just charge forward and kill load them. We're going to die trying, die fighting. That doesn't sound true character. I'm sorry, I have mixed feelings about that. What, they're just going to die? Well, they could die. This was supposed to be the last one. But no, if you can't possibly win, you surrender, you put in prison, and then find a way to escape afterwards. No. I thought Rambo does whatever it takes to survive. Charging forward and dying fighting, that's not doing whatever it takes to survive, is it? No, that's a bit silly. But that's Rambo's brilliant plan, and Colonel Troutman agrees with him. Let's die fighting, yeah? It doesn't matter, because then a few seconds later, a whole load of Afghan army troops come to help them. So, okay. So, yes, they fight, but they don't die fighting, yeah. And then eventually, a massive epic confrontation with the leader, and then when the fight's all over, Rambo is offered a place in Afghanistan. Stay here and fight with us. You'll fight loads of baddies. And Rambo says, no, enough is enough. I really can't do any more, So yes, everything wraps up, all the loose ends are tied up, and it makes a great end to a trilogy. Or it would have done if they hadn't done a fourth one, yes. For a long, long time, there were just 3 Rambo films, and then eventually, 20 years later, there was a 4th one, yeah. I do like the 4th one. I like the 3rd one. The 3rd one, it would have been fine if there'd been no sequel, but it works with or without a sequel, if you see what I mean, yeah. Okay, so, if you liked 1 and 2, the second one's still my favourite. There's something about the epicness of that one, yeah. But after the epicness of the second one, the 3rd one is a bit like an encore, yeah. The 3rd one is good, yeah, don't get me wrong, but I still like the second one best, yeah. But if you like Rambo films, you'll love Rambo 3. Okay, thank you for watching. I'm Anthony Hobbs, and I'm never bored.